Welcome to Raider Talks. I am your host, Art Navarrete, here alongside Art Navarrete Sr. We are here following day 3 of the 2022 NFL Combine. Today we had the defensive tackles, the edge rushers, and the linebackers. How'd you feel about day 3?
Day 3 was pretty fun to watch. We finally got to dig into the defensive side of the ball. And there's, it's a lot of talented players, as I've been saying. This is going to be a deep draft. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so start off the day with the defensive tackles. How'd you feel about those guys?
They kind of blew it up right off the bat. Like, I think all the hype was about, coming into today, was about the edge rushers. But I thought the defensive tackles kind of outshined them today.
Separated themselves.
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought they showed out, and a lot of them put their name into the first round discussion. Yeah,
for sure. Who are some of your notable guys from today?
Well, everybody's talking about Jordan Davis, right? 6'6" or 6'7" or whatever he is, 340 pounds. He broke some combine records and all this and that. And, man, he's just a big man that can move. He's very athletic. He looks like an athlete. And so he was pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. He was impressive today. And his teammate was impressive as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, Wyatt from Georgia also. Wyatt was probably my favorite defensive tackle coming in. I think he still is. He ran slightly faster. Jordan Davis ran a 4.77. I think Jordan Davis ran a 4.78, and Devontae Wyatt ran a 4.77, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
But Wyatt, he's 40 pounds, probably 40 pounds lighter than Davis, but he's still over 300 pounds. And according to what you're hearing about our new defensive coordinator, he likes
big
those
guys.
Yeah, he likes those big guys in the middle, over 300 pounds. So those two check that box. And they both, even though Jordan Davis, everybody's hyping up his broad jump, 10.3, his 40 time. Wyatt looked by far way better than him in all the drills, though. So I think I take that a little bit more serious than the actual 40 time.
Yeah.
So to me, Wyatt's still my favorite defensive tackle.
Well, you like Wyatt coming in, right?
Yeah.
More than him.
Yeah, I did. And he didn't disappoint today. I still think he's the best defensive tackle in this draft class. And he'd been mentioned, late first round, kind of second round guy. I don't think he gets into the second round now, but you never know. Maybe he's still around when we were picking at 22.
Yeah, you never know. I like to say a lot of those Georgia guys showed up today.
Oh yeah, sure.
They played pretty good today.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive. We'll talk about the defensive end from Georgia a little bit later, but yeah, they showed. There's a reason why they won the national championship. They're very talented.
Yeah, so any other defensive tackles you like to note?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Yeah, Travis Jones. I mean, obviously we can't go down the whole list of everybody, but Travis Jones, he dominated at the Senior Bowl practices. And today, he pretty much solidified himself as a late first round or second round pick.
Yeah.
Just a big, strong guy. Not a whole lot of pass rush moves, but he's just so powerful. He can just push blockers right back into the quarterback. So he ran a sub-5 40 today, which was pretty impressive for his size also. Yep. I think he's 6'4", 325 or something like that. So he did good.
I think he's one of those guys that hit one of those guys holding up the pads because of how strong
funny.
He was.
Yeah, there was a couple of those guys took a couple whacks across the side of the head, huh?
Yeah, for sure, holding those pads today.
So a couple other guys, Perry and Winfrey, he ran a 4.89, but it looked like he pulled up kind of lame. He had a really good Senior Bowl practices, so I was really anxious to see how he did today, but he didn't get to perform the rest of the day. And Logan Hall, he's a smaller DT. He's a guy that kind of he could play both. He could play on the edge or he can move him inside. I think he's around 285 or something. He looked really good. He looked smooth, but obviously he's smaller than some of these guys, so he's going to look a little more athletic and a little more agile. But I thought he had a good day as well.
Yeah, he was in that group of the first guys, wasn't he?
Yeah, he could have went to pretty much either group, like a defensive end, edge rusher, or interior defensive line, because he's kind of plays back and forth. But he did good today. Do you want to move on to the edge rushers now?
Yeah, let's do it.
For sure. So the edge rushers, pretty interesting day. I thought that Aiden Hutchinson has generally been considered the top defensive end or edge rusher in this upcoming draft.
Yeah, from Michigan.
Yeah, he's potential number 1 overall pick or whatever. And I thought that he had a solid day, but there was nothing really special about him. You know, he didn't really stand out too much.
Yeah.
You know, he ran a 4.7. You know, he was fine. You know, he did all the drills pretty good. He showed decent athleticism. And on the opposite side, I want to talk about the guy who was supposed to be like his competition, which was Thibodeau from Oregon. Yeah. So that guy was a big disappointment today. He ran a good 40, right? He ran pretty fast. So he outdid Hutchinson in the 40.
Yeah.
I think he ran a 4.65 or something.
And first of all, before starting the edge rushers, they were talking about how it's these two.
Yes.
They're going to be competing against each other all day at the combine and seeing who's better.
Yeah.
They're going to be competing against each other.
Yeah. Bragging rights or whatever.
All that.
Yeah. One wanted to show the other who should be the first edge rusher off the board. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're expecting this heavyweight battle between these two guys. And so Thibodeau, after he runs, he doesn't participate and actually I think he ran faster than a 4.65. He ran like a 4.58 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, something crazy.
Something really good.
Yeah, something crazy. He ran fast. So everybody's hyped up about him. He looked like a great athlete, obviously. But then he decides to not participate in the rest of the drills. And he looked like he was mad or something. He looked like he was disappointed in himself or something. I don't know what it was. And the thing that bothered me was Charles Davis said that he asked Thibodeau point blank, what are you going to do this weekend? And Thibodeau told him, I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the drills.
Yep.
And so all of a sudden, he backs out of the drills. And keep in mind, there's already questions about his heart, right? And his desire to play, his motor. You know, because I guess there's
times off.
Yeah, there's times on film where he just doesn't give it 100%.
Yep.
So I think that's just going to raise more question marks for him. I don't see him getting. If I'm a general manager, I'm not picking him in the top 5 for sure. You know,
yeah.
If he falls out of the top 5, maybe into the teens, maybe you think you're getting a steal because of his athleticism and his upside. But I thought he was probably the biggest loser. If you had to pick winners and losers, I thought he was a loser today just because of that.
Yeah, I think the combine, if you're going to go to the combine, unless you're hurt, I think you need to do everything.
Oh, you have to.
You got to compete.
Yeah, you got to show that you're a competitor.
You're in front of all these GMs. You can't just run the 40, say I ran fast, but in his case, it looked like he was mad with his time.
Yeah.
But you can't just run the 40, show off your skills or whatever, show off your speed and just not do anything else.
Yeah. And I think it's different.
It's just shying away. It's shying away from competition.
I think it's different if, say, you're a wide receiver and you go run a 4.2 and you're like, you know what, I'm done for the day, right?
Yeah.
But this guy told, one of the, main...
You can't tell the number one NFL analyst.
Yeah, one of the top guys, Charles Davis,
that you're going to do something and then you don't. You just lie to his face.
Exactly. And now the whole world knows that you pretty much quit today.
Yeah.
And he made the excuse that he wanted to do edge rusher and linebacker drills. And so it was going to take too much time in between the drills or something. So he was just going to do it as pro day. Well, as we've seen, the edge rushers, after they did their drills, they had the option to continue working out, at that moment.
Yep.
And do the linebacker drills.
Yeah, so that debunked what he said.
Oh, 100%.
And he just looked kind of like an idiot today.
Yeah, he didn't look good. He was the big loser in today. I think he definitely, that probably took him out of the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So could have been a great day for him.
Could have been, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
So, but the guy who I thought stood out the most out of all the edge rushers is Trayvon Walker from Georgia. All
these Georgia guys.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, he just looked like the best. He looked like the best player on the field today.
Quicker than everybody, lower to the ground.
Yeah, he looked big, strong, fast, athletic. His technique was sound. He ran a solid 40 time. We were talking about some of those wide receivers, like, if they run a 4.5, that's great.
Yeah.
This guy ran a 4.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's huge, 270. I think he weighs 275 or something like that.
Athlete.
Oh, yeah. So this guy pretty much, I think he's jumped over Thibodeau as, as far as draft status. I think he jumped over him. Maybe he put himself in the position to get drafted higher than Hutchinson. I'm not sure, but yeah, he impressed me today.
Yeah, we can't really tell who are some of the guys that may jump over some of those top guys because they really hype up these top guys in the combine.
They do.
They really they focus on them.
Yeah.
Even if there's a guy going off that's supposed to be a late first rounder or early second rounder, they don't really focus on him as much.
Yeah.
Even though he does great.
It usually takes a lot for them to talk negative about somebody. So if it one of those top ranked guys, they really have to fall flat on their face for them to kind of talk negative about them. And they did that today with Thibodeau. They talked down on him a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there were some other guys too. Walker was the big winner for me for edge rushers. I'm a huge fan of Jermaine Johnson. I think Jermaine Johnson should be in consideration to be a top 10 pick. I think he's every bit as good as Hutchinson and Walker. And
he looked good today.
He competed with the linebackers today, right?
Yeah.
And he looked just as athletic as the top linebackers, if not more. He looked more natural and smooth with his back pedal, side to side shuffle. I mean, he just looked like an athlete. And we already know he can get off to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's another guy at the Senior Bowl practices. He was dominating. They couldn't block him.
Yeah, he didn't play in the Senior Bowl, right?
No.
He just went to the practices, dominated, and showed enough.
Yeah, I did enough. You guys seen what I could do.
Yep.
And then so he was good today. Other guys that I thought were solid were I'm going to butcher his name, Ebikiti from Penn State. He looked like an athlete. Boye Mafe, he dominated in the Senior Bowl practices as well, and the Senior Bowl game actually. I think he got a couple sacks. He was solid and ran a 4.57. He competed with the linebackers and looked athletic as well. George Karlaftis, he didn't run a 40, but he was pretty solid in all his workouts. I thought David Ajabo, who's been getting hyped up as a top 10 edge rusher, I didn't think he looked too good today. He looked athletic. But he was
from Michigan as well, right?
Yeah, he's from Michigan, but he just wasn't technically sound in any of the drills. He just didn't. He looked like one of those guys that just like he had never practiced these drills before or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he ran a 4.55, so he ran good, but I don't think he did anything to elevate his draft stock. And again, the biggest loser today was Kayvon Thibodeau and another guy. His name is Enigbari from South Carolina. He had really good Senior Bowl practices, but today he did not look good. He ran a 4.87. I thought he was going to run faster than that.
Yeah.
And in the drills, he looked slow too. So it was kind of surprising.
Yeah. So that's it for the edge rushers right there. Went through a whole rundown of those guys.
Yeah.
Some winners and losers from
for sure.
the edge rushers.
Yeah.
More prevalent than the other positions we saw in the combine so far.
I agree, 100%.
So now we're going to move on to the linebackers. How'd you feel about those guys today? Look like they competed.
Yeah.
Look like a lot of fast linebackers as well. The combine is just, the speed is just going up and up and up every year.
It's crazy.
Athletes are all over the game now. And that's why I talked about the NFL being a league where it's going to be more like the MLB per se, where you can win any game in the NFL any given day, any given Sunday.
Yeah, it's becoming, I mean, that's an old saying, but it wasn't always true.
No.
Now it's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The last year, I think.
Yeah.
Because usually there's that team that dominates all year long.
Yeah.
Or, a team that's only loses a couple games.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 or 4 of those teams. Now, everything's even.
Yeah. I think you and I said it like halfway through the season, we're like, okay, anybody can win the Super Bowl this year. It's anybody's game. You know what I mean? There's, there wasn't one dominating team. A lot of teams, were going to be in the mix, and whoever got hot, it could win it.
Yeah, right? I don't think that's going to change. No. Because you see all these athletes in the combine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys that are going to get drafted in round 1 that I think are like, there's some guys that are going to be drafted in the 3rd round. They're just as good as those first round guys.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with speed and athleticism.
Even like where the Raiders are picking this year, they're picking 22. Like, you're going to get a guy that's going to fall to you that he's going to have the talent to be a top 10 pick probably, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But he's going to fall to you, but that's just because the type of athletes that are coming out into the draft nowadays, into the NFL, there's just so many of them.
And you never know with any pick that you get if they're going to be a star or not because of how, like we said, athletic these guys are.
Right.
And we really don't know how they're going to be until they start going to NFL practices, start going to those camps, rookie mini camps and all that.
Right.
And then they start to shine a little bit, even if they're guys that are first rounders or even all the way down to the later rounds.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that this is just half of the battle, right? Evaluating the talent, evaluating the athlete. But the other half is evaluating the person, the work ethic, the commitment to the game. Does he love football? Does he do the right things? Does he make the right decisions?
Yep, those are a lot of the things we talked about that the Raiders are looking for in the combine.
Oh yeah, and so that's half the battle, right? So we can see a guy that's going off because he's a great athlete at the combine, but if he blows the interview, then he's probably gonna fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I mean, with that being said, we can get to the linebackers, and to me, there was no big losers with the linebackers. They all looked pretty solid. Mm-hmm. They all kind of blended in. From the best to the worst, that kind of blended in. There was maybe one surprise for me. So some of the guys who I thought were pretty good, who had good showings, was that they were just solid. They were solid. They didn't stand out too much, but they had a good day. Was Leo Chenal. He's from Wisconsin. Brian Asamoah from Oklahoma. And Troy Anderson from Montana State. I didn't know too much about him coming in, but he had a good day. Chad Muma, I already liked him, and he had a solid day as well. He's from Wyoming. He's all over the field all the time. They were kind of hyping him up today at the combine. But to me, the two guys that stood out was Quay Walker from Georgia. Believe it or not,
all these Georgia guys.
Yeah, believe it or not, there's a Georgia guy that stood out. So Quay Walker, he looked legit.
There's a reason they're national champions.
Yeah, exactly. He looked legit. He was very athletic. He ran fast. He ran a sub 4.6 40, and he stood out to me. And I thought probably the best linebacker today who showed out was Christian Harris from Alabama. He looked pretty good. Like he
looked big and athletic.
Yeah, he showed better than I even thought he would. He looked pretty good. I mean, he was very impressive today. So he's a guy that I wasn't even sure that he was going to be like a first round guy, but he's probably going to be a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
Coming into today, I was thinking second round guy, but man, he looked really good today. And the only one who I was really disappointed in was Devin Lloyd from Utah.
Yeah, he didn't have a good 40.
No, he ran a 4.71, and kind of similar to the edge rusher I was talking about earlier. When he did the drills, like he looked like he didn't never even practice these drills.
Yeah,
like he was kind of unfortunate to be doing the drills right next to Jermaine Johnson, and Jermaine Johnson is an edge guy who gets after the quarterback. He's not going
and he dominated.
Yeah, and Jermaine Johnson's not going to drop back in coverage. He's not going to, you wouldn't expect him to be good at the linebacker drills, but he looked better at the linebacker drills than Devin Lloyd, who's a linebacker.
Yeah.
And Devin Lloyd's supposed to be the top linebacker, and I've been hearing Devin Lloyd could creep into the top 10, So he just didn't look that fast today. He didn't look as athletic as I thought.
Not as quick.
Not as quick. Like, you want that quick twitch guy. He didn't show that to me today. But again, this is just part of the evaluation process. Scouts are going to go back and watch the tape and see how and why he had so much production. And, maybe I think this drops his stock a little bit, but he's still probably going to be a first round pick just based off of the last
film.
year that he had. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a couple of these guys and they look fast, look quick, look athletic. But yeah, Devin Lloyd definitely didn't have a good day.
No.
He started off with the 40.
Yeah, and he had a chance to really shine because I thought that the spotlight was on him as far as the linebackers go.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody kind of knew that, okay, this is the top guy.
This is the guy.
Yeah, by far. This is the top guy, and then there's the rest. But I think Christian Harris and Quay Walker might have caught him and jumped him in that. And as far as the rankings go.
Yeah, a couple of those guys look really good. Any final notes from the combine?
No, just 3 days down, 1 day to go. We get to see some more fast guys tomorrow, some DBs.
Yeah.
And, you can never have enough DBs on your team. So I'm sure
no,
it's going to be
trust me.
It's going to be fun to see. It's just fun.
We need those DBs.
It's just fun because that there's some future Raiders that we've seen in these 3 days and tomorrow. There's going to be some guys that we see they're going to be wearing silver and black this coming season. So it's just exciting to see.
Yeah, it should be fun. We'll see you guys for day 4 tomorrow, the final day, and then we start creeping up into free agency.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun too.
Yeah, and then you got those couple days before free agency where you can start talking to players and all that. So that's when the real news is going to start breaking, and then we'll kind of have an idea of who we might sign on first day.
Yep. I think you're going to start hearing some rumors before that even.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah. I think we'll take that guy. What do you think?